All right, let's talk about something that so many of us, myself included, wear like a badge of honor: perfectionism. But what if that badge is actually a cage? What if I told you that trying to be perfect is the very thing holding you back? Today, we're going to look at an ancient Taoist idea that might just be the key to breaking free. So, seriously, ask yourself this. When you're tweaking that one last detail for the 100th time, is it really about making it better, or is it because you're terrified of what people will think? Let's get real about that for a minute, because it's a big deal. Okay, let's break this down. Perfectionism isn't actually about high standards. Nope, it's a very clever form of self-sabotage. It's this idea that if you just make something complicated enough, if you add enough features and details, then nobody can possibly criticize it. But all you're really doing is making it impossible to ever finish. And this chart, wow, this says it all. This is what we call the perfectionist's trap. You pour in a massive 80% of your effort, your time, your energy, your sanity, all for what? For that last teeny tiny 5% improvement. It's just a terrible, terrible return on your investment. So why on earth do we do this to ourselves? Well, because complexity feels like control, doesn't it? Building those intricate spreadsheets, those multi-stage plans, it makes us feel like we've got everything handled. But here's what's actually happening in your brain. Every new layer adds to your cognitive load, making the whole thing feel overwhelming. And guess what an overwhelmed brain wants to do? Procrastinate. Right, so this leads to a super sneaky kind of procrastination. It's called over-optimization. This isn't you just sitting around doing nothing. Oh no, you're busy. You're incredibly busy. You're just busy with all the wrong stuff. And this might sting a little, but it's the truth. You're hiding. You spend a week researching the best project management software before you've even started the project. You're drowning yourself in irrelevant details because it feels safer than doing the real, vulnerable work of creating something. Okay, so that's the problem. The good news: there's an antidote, and it's a beautiful one from ancient Taoist philosophy. It's a concept called pu, which translates to the uncarved block. So what is pu? Just picture a simple uncarved block of wood. It's natural, it's whole, it's full of potential. It could become anything. Pu is all about that original state of powerful simplicity, before we start carving it up with our ambitions, our fears, and our endless need to make things perfect. And this is the core idea that can totally change your perspective. Panucci teaches that you already have what you need to succeed. The struggle isn't about learning more or doing more. The struggle comes from all the unnecessary stuff we pile on top. The goal isn't to add, it's to subtract. I mean, just look at the difference here. On one side, you have perfectionism. It's complex, it's driven by fear, it's fragile, and it leaves you paralyzed. Then you've got Pi. Simple, confident, strong, and all about taking action. It's not even a fair fight. Okay, this sounds great in theory, right? But how do we actually use this in our daily lives? Well, it all starts with the first practice, which is mental decluttering. We need to apply this uncarved block idea to our own minds. And we do that by strategically filtering. First, filter the information you let in. Less noise, less social media, fewer pointless meetings. Second, filter your to-do list. Be ruthless about eliminating tasks that aren't absolutely essential. And third, filter your decisions. Automate the small stuff, like what you eat for lunch, so you can save your brain power for what really matters. All right, so once your mind is a bit clearer, the next step is to build simple systems. This is where you take that principle of simplicity and apply it to how you actually work. Because trust me, simplicity is your ultimate weapon. And here are some perfect examples. Instead of some crazy 7-stage creative process, how about this? Draft, edit, ship. Boom. Done. Instead of a super detailed spreadsheet to track every calorie, just eat the same healthy lunch every day. Simple systems are strong. They're systems you'll actually stick to. And here's the key takeaway on that. Consistency always beats intensity. A simple habit that you can do consistently, even if it's only at 80% perfect, will build and build over time. It'll create way more results than some perfect system that you only use once in a blue moon. This leads us to the third and, maybe the hardest part of putting PU into practice, learning to genuinely embrace good enough. This is where we go head-to-head with that fear of being judged. The tool for this is defining your minimum viable output, or your MVO. Think of it as the sweet spot, the simplest version of your work that still delivers real value. It's the point where you get the most bang for your buck right before you start getting lost in those tiny, pointless details. And you should write this quote down. A finished thing, even an imperfect one that's out in the world, is so much more powerful than the flawless masterpiece that's stuck forever inside your head. Ultimately, the philosophy of Pooh is about giving yourself permission. It's permission to start before you have all the answers. And it's permission to ship your work before it's perfect. This is how you unlock the cage. So let's make this super practical. Here's your action plan, something you can do today. We're going to call it the Uncarved Block Audit. It's just 3 steps. Step 1, take a project you're stuck on and list 3 overly complex, unnecessary details you've added to it. Be honest. Step 2, define the minimum viable output for that project in 1 single sentence. And step 3, the big one. For the next 48 hours, you are forbidden from working on anything else. Work only on the MVO. And when you do this, the benefits are immediate. You'll stop wasting energy, you'll finally get some momentum going, you'll become more resilient or anti-fragile because you'll welcome feedback instead of fearing it, and best of all, you'll trade all that struggle for actual, effective progress. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. Right now, what is the one extra step, the one unnecessary detail that you can cut from your most important project? Find it and get rid of it. That is your first step to becoming the uncarved block. Thanks for hanging out and digging into this with me.
Like and subscribe for timeless wisdom.